This is the gaming headset used by the two-time, back-to-back 1993-1994 blockbuster video game champion. We're going to talk about him in a bit, but this isn't the only headset that he's used. This right here is the Turtle Beach Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max, and this right here is the Turtle Beach Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max. I'll be reviewing both of these devices and comparing them to each other. So both of these devices are designed for Xbox. I've used them both on the Series S, but they work on PlayStation as well. They really work on pretty much any console. So both these devices come with a dongle with a switch. You can change it to USB mode or Xbox mode. Xbox mode, you need that for Xbox. USB mode, work on the Switch, work on PS4, PS5, and PC. So even though there's an Xbox and PlayStation branded version of these headsets, I would definitely get the Xbox version because it works with Xbox and PlayStation anyway. But the PlayStation one does not work with Xbox. So for the connectivity differences, while both of these devices do use 2.4 gigahertz wireless with the dongle, only the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max has Bluetooth, and it gets Bluetooth and the 2.4 wireless simultaneously. 600 wireless with the dongle only. As for battery life, the 700 lasts up to 40 hours, and the 600 lasts a little bit longer, up to 48. Probably because there's no Bluetooth. So here are the controls on both devices. Like I said, they both come with USB dongles, and switching it from USB mode to Xbox mode will change the functionality of the controls a little bit. So starting with the Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max, everything's going to be on the left ear cup. First off, we got a mic that is flipped to mute. At the top, there's headphone volume. This is finite scroll. In Xbox mode, this controls the game volume specifically. The wheel right under that controls mic monitoring or side tone when it's in USB mode, but the chat volume when it's in Xbox mode. And again, this one is also a finite scroll. Next is the mode button, and this will swap between the 4 built-in EQ presets, but you cannot make any custom ones, and it will make a number of beeps when you press the button, like do do do, based on which preset it is from 1 to 4. The EQ presets for the 600 are signature sound, bass boost, bass plus treble boost, and vocal boost, which really sounds like a mid-range and especially upper mids boost. Tapping the power button once will enable superhuman hearing, which is basically a massive treble boost and bass cut. It's pretty terrible for Modern Warfare 2, especially because in that game, footsteps are a lot more bass heavy in comparison to Modern Warfare 2019 or Warzone 1. So it's probably more useful back then. And there's the USB-C charging port. Now the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max, again, everything is on the left ear cup. The microphone, same thing. Flip to mute, but we've got some more controls on this one. At the top, volume wheel again, finite scroll. The wheel under that, mic monitoring when it's in USB mode, and chat volume in Xbox mode. This one is infinite scroll though. By default, the mode button on this turns superhuman hearing on or off, but in the app, you can remap it to different things. And in the app, you can like drag superhuman hearing to be like a certain amount, so it's not like full blast. I think it's a pretty dumb effect, but whatever. Here's the power button, and then the Bluetooth button has the pretty common functionality of pressing it once that you can answer a call or play pause tracks, and then twice skip a track, 3 times go back a track. I really like how simple they keep it. I reviewed the Odyssey Maxwell where they just had a lot of really convoluted controls with just controlling your audio tracks, and I was like, what are you guys even doing? And the USB-C port is on the bottom. Okay, now headphone audio quality. Neither of these headsets sound amazing. So I can understand why Dr. Disrespect always says,
This guy's moving around, he's going like that. I go upstairs, don't hear anything.
To be fair, Call of Duty does have very inconsistent audio. But yeah, in the 600, you can straight up get lost listening out for footsteps. The sound separation just isn't that good. The highs, they're not shrill, but they're hollow, and the detail is lacking. I definitely wouldn't recommend this for music listening and for immersive games, anything that's like single player. Like, of course, you can still have fun, but the sound quality is just not really going to be that great. Now in the 700, it's a lot better. Nowhere close to the Odyssey Penrose or the Maxwell, especially when you EQ those, but I'd put it around the Astro A40. It's a bit more open in the bass, actually a lot more open in the bass. I'd take this, the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max, over the A40 for FPS games, but for immersion and sub bass and music, I do prefer the A40. The 700 does have a somewhat warm sound, but the bass doesn't ever thump or boom really, even with a lot of EQ tweaking. So after this video, if you still are considering these headsets, I'd get them for the other attributes that they have, like their comfort or their connectivity, wireless here, wireless plus Bluetooth here, over the headphone audio, because it's just kind of okay. Not that great on the 600, but you know, all right on the 700. Now for microphone audio quality, starting with the Turtle Beach Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max. This device sounds a little bit below average. This is talking about like the 30 plus headsets that I've tested at this point. And really the mic quality goes for both. I wouldn't be surprised if these are the exact same mic. The tonality, it's thin, but also muffled at the same time. Sometimes if you watch Dr. Disrespect stream, he'll like move away from his mic into like his wherever green room, wherever he goes. And you can hear it, like it's a drastic difference when he changes from his main mic to this mic. And the background noise rejection, let me go ahead and demonstrate. It's pretty much non-existent. You might be able to hear my PC fan, but you should definitely be able to hear the keyboard typing from this. There's not like a filter inside of it, and the passive noise rejection is just like not a thing with this mic. Even like breathing sounds will come through pretty clear. So if you're a mouth breather, that's not gonna work out. Switching over to the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max, one advantage of these mics is the positioning that they have. Not only is it really convenient and doesn't really look like an eyesore, but the positioning makes them very resistant to plosives, since your air puffs are just going to be going forward instead of into the mic, so they don't even need like a wind guard on it. Still, I wouldn't buy either of these headsets for the microphone audio quality. I've mentioned this several times, but the only headsets that I'd really consider for that I've used so far are the Corsair HS80 #1, and then #2 would be the Drophouse Epos PC38X. That one's also wired, and it does need some volume amplification. But these two, whatever. Now, Turtle Beach does have a software application for both desktop and mobile. Since the 600 does not have Bluetooth, it only connects to the desktop one. All it does for the 600 is let you change the mic monitoring level, which I need to test this because I think that's only an Xbox thing, because on PC, the game chat will actually controls the mic monitoring anyway. Also, you can change the volume of the tones, like when you swap different EQs. On the 700, the desktop app is only for updating the firmware, and the 700 is controlled through Turtle Beach's phone app, which is somehow even worse than Odyssey HQ. Even with the headset literally playing audio from my phone while connected by Bluetooth, it only successfully connects to the app about 20% of the time, which really sucks because you can't adjust or undo any of your changes to the EQ or other settings without it. Now, when you do get it to work, it's decent. The equalizer is kind of vague and it doesn't give you exact frequencies like in other ones. And I could never get that level of satisfying bass that I wanted even when I cranked it like really high. And the upper mids just never felt as detailed as I wanted them. No matter how much I changed the sliders, I just couldn't get that sound that I really enjoyed. But the settings do apply to the headset itself. So if you're taking this Bluetooth or if you're going to use it on different consoles, the settings are going to stay in the headset. So you don't have to worry about reapplying them every single time. Now, build quality and comfort, this is no contest. The Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max owns the 600 in both departments. So the 600 is made of this really cheap and kind of thin, flimsy plastic. It makes it feel like a toy. And I know some people swear by this type of mesh padding that they use, but I find it scratchy. I don't like the sound that it makes when it rubs on like your hair or skin or really anything. I just can't stand that sound. It's kind of like cardboard scratching. I just hate it. And it's not very comfortable, but one advantage is it doesn't get very hot, which the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max does get kind of hot, even though this isn't actually pleather, but I'll talk about that in a second. The 700, it fits very snug, more than this. This one's like a little bit loose, not with the clamping force. I mean, the clamping force isn't too strong, but just the material here isn't like super snug like this. And this is made of a lot softer cloth. There is pleather on like the outside, but the inside is like a soft cloth. You would think this wouldn't get too hot, but it actually does. After like maybe like an hour or so, you do feel the heat. Now the clamping force is quite strong. However, if you don't have glasses, really not going to be much of an issue. But even if you do have glasses, which a lot of times I do play with glasses, these are a little bit beat up, but there's a Pro Specs glasses relief system, and it will create this little small indent in the padding. It's like barely recognizable, but you can just pull off the ear cup, like the padding. And then right in here, there's this little strap. You can pull this off. And then you can adjust this. So this will make this part right here, like kind of like go in or out. And so this is the left one where it's at its like second tightest. And you can see it's pinching itself in. And this one right here is at the loosest one that I have. And you can barely really see anything at all. So it does make a little bit of a difference. It's not like super crazy revolutionary. And it sounds way more high tech than it is. But over longer periods of time, when you are wearing glasses, you can feel a little bit of a difference. The Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max is definitely one of the most comfortable headsets that I've worn. The build, it's still plastic, but it's a bit more sturdy than the Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max. And it doesn't make that like kind of creaky sound that this one does when you got the swivel. Speaking of that, both of these devices do have the adjustable height with the frame. They do have swivel in and out. I prefer the swivel on the 700 because it kind of goes out a little bit more so it doesn't like pinch in your neck. I'm always really big on that. The 600, here's the adjustment brackets here, but even at its full length, I do feel like it closes in a little bit too much when it has the swivel. So I just don't like that over longer periods of time. I don't like it kind of like pinching my veins. It's just not that comfortable. So yeah, the 700 definitely wins in the build quality department and comfort. Sturdier build, has a little bit of the metal on this adjustment frame here, which this on the 600 all plastic. More comfortable padding, and I prefer the swivel on this better because you can rest it around your neck without it pinching into it. And now for my verdict. I gotta keep it 100. I don't actually recommend buying either of these two headsets. At the Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max's price range, you can get the Corsair HS80, which I do find to be more comfortable, sounds better as far as the headphone audio quality, and way better when it comes to the microphone audio quality. It's also wireless just like this. The 700 is a lot more compelling, but at its launch price of $200, I think that's just too much. Because if you have the money for this, then you might consider saving up a little bit more and you can get this, the Odyssey Maxwell. Now this is a whole lot more expensive. This is $300, at least launch price for the PlayStation version. This is $330 for the Xbox version. But the sound, especially with EQ, I think this thing really does need a lot of EQ, completely destroys the sound quality of the Stealth 700 Gen 2 Max and of course this. And it has a superior build. It's got a lot more metal on it. I'd say it's about even in comfort. This might actually beat it out. The Odyssey Penrose price has gone down since the Maxwell came out, so you might be able to find this for like $200 also. The problem is, as you see this tape here, yeah, this thing breaks really easily, so you're gonna have to consider that. But the sound quality, again, with EQ, it's gonna destroy this thing. The drivers just are a lot more capable. But hey, if we're just comparing the 600 to the 700 and you're dead set on getting a Turtle Beach device, then I'd get the 700. It's straight up better. It has Bluetooth and wireless simultaneously, better audio quality, better build quality, and it has more comfortable padding. It's probably not gonna make you play as good as Doc, but it is a decent, well-rounded headset.